let's talk about another story that is super important. This is a crypto native story, but we've been tracking it for a while. This is EIP1559.
In stark contrast.
Yes. What a segue. So in crypto, we're not trying to print more money, actually. We're trying to burn money, apparently, right? Bitcoin is the story of fixed supply money, but Ether is becoming a story of actually a negative issuance, possibly, a burning. Light the furnaces, my friend. EIP 1559 has been approved to go in not the next hard fork, but the hard fork after, which could be slated for a July release of Ethereum. And that would put this thing, EIP 1559, into the protocol. For folks that haven't been paying attention to what EIP 1559 is, could you give a quick summary and tell us why this is so important?
Right. EIP 1559, instead of making a transaction in Ethereum and that a transaction fee going to validators or miners, instead it just gets burned. And there's a number of reasons behind this. One, it's just more game theoretically stable if you just burn that fee. And the important juxtaposition here is that transaction fees on Ethereum reflect demand for Ethereum's block space, which reflect demands for Ethereum economy, right? And so Ethereum as a protocol, when it collects fees, that is like the Ethereum system collecting revenue. That is the GDP of Ethereum. The revenue that Ethereum collects is directly correlated with the GDP of the Ethereum economy. And because we are now burning this, Ether, the asset, the scarcity of Ether should also be tracking the GDP of Ethereum. As the GDP of Ethereum grows, we should be burning more and more Ether, making Ether more and more scarce. So this is in stark contrast to the United States economy, where our GDP, except for during COVID, our GDP has never been higher, yet we are still issuing money at an all-time high rate. Those two things are backwards, because if the American economy, if the American nation state was efficient, it would be able to generate revenue from its own GDP. This is what a nation state does. This is what Ethereum does. It generates security to fund itself, to fund its growth through the GDP that it taxes. In the United States, we tax our citizens, and then we also print money. Ethereum taxes the people that use it, and then it burns money. And it importantly burns it issues like a stock buyback on Ether, the asset, because the more and more Ether that it can pull away from the secondary market to make Ether more and more scarce makes Ethereum and Ether harder to attack under a proof of stake paradigm. There's your EIP 1559 lesson, like banked into like 2 minutes.
That was awesome, man. And guys, go check out the opening note that David wrote about EIP 1559. It's a great summary. So basically what we're doing is we're taxing transactions and we're giving that back to ETH holders in the form of a burn. Good times to be an ETH holder. The last thing I'll say, David, is I don't think the market has woken up and realized that this is an actual protocol going into a store of value commodity asset like Ether. I don't think the market understands what EIP 1559 is. Guys, I think this is alpha. This is
alpha.
If you are in this space, do you see anybody talking about this? Oh, well, here's the closest thing, actually. This is Bloomberg. This is the Bloomberg front page. The first time I've seen an Ethereum related article. But David, this is what they, this is their headline.
Is so awesome.
Crypto coin outperforming Bitcoin is about to see supply reduced. David, crypto coin, I guess they're talking about Ether.
Are they?
Yes.
Crypto coin. That's my favorite crypto coin.
It turns out they are, but this is the first I guess narrative that we're seeing of EIP 1559 escaping into mainstream. So it's still super early. The market doesn't understand this. The market has just wrapped its head around 21 million fixed supply Bitcoin. Wait till they figure out EIP 1559 burning supply Ether.
Dude, so EIP 1559, extremely elegant upgrade to a blockchain. It is so perfect in every single way, yet the best thing about EIP 1559 is not anything about the code. It's about the narrative. It's about the story that is told, which is the best fucking thing about it. Oh, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
David, we're going to do an entire episode about EIP 1559, guys. And we have a fantastic guest who's been in EIP 1559, like the best analyst, the guy who understands it's the best, Hasu, who's a pseudo-anonymous I guess analyst and thinker, researcher.
Crypto economic researcher, I would call him. Yeah.
Yes, we are camping an entire episode on this. It is that important. So stay tuned to Bankless Podcast. Make sure you check out that episode coming. Last thing on EIP 1559. Not everyone's a fan. Not everyone's a fan. Miners do not like it.
Can't please everyone.
We can't. Well, this is Ethereum miners, and this is a headline saying Ethereum miners plot a hash power show of force against EIP 1559. So there's undercurrents of threats coming from miners. Of course, miners' revenue is going to get cut as a result of this. 20%, 30%. I mean, they're doing pretty well, and they've been doing pretty well. Okay, so that's the backdrop of this. That's the context. But I've had actually a lot of people reach out to me, David, and like, are you concerned about this, that it won't go through? Are you concerned that miners might fork? My response to that is no, I'm not concerned at all, not even in the slightest. I think some miners think they are far more powerful over this ecosystem than they are. If they fork, that's great for ETH holders, right? Thanks for the free coin. See you later. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy some more ETH. That's it. End of story, right? I think that the threat of miner fork is definitely overinflated. In fact, I think a lot of this might be saber rattling. We'll see if they fork or not. But it could very well be just saber rattling if they do fork in the end. I'm not concerned about it. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, it's absolutely saber rattling. And the reason why, like the title of this, a hash power show of force. And what that means is that a bunch of miners are going to all signal with their hash power saying, hey, we do not approve this. And this is just the wrong paradigm. Ethereum doesn't answer to hash power. That's not what it does. It's not Bitcoin. This isn't Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. This is Ethereum. First off, proof of stake is coming where your hash power is just going to get deleted anyways. And so, like, goodbye. And also, cool, anyone can fork a blockchain. It doesn't matter if all of the hash power goes in one direction. If all of the community goes in a different direction and starts valuing a different fork, hash power is going to go to the fork that is valued because that's where revenue comes from. It doesn't matter if 99% of hash power is signaling in support of something. If all of the value goes into a different fork, then miners are just going to go back to that one. Like, the hash power is not the saber. It's not a weapon. Like, no, it's a bluff.
And look, man, we've seen this play out already time and time again, even in the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? With kind of these other miner instigated forks or other party instigated forks like Bitcoin Cash and all of these things. And it's the community that decides what Bitcoin is. The same with Ethereum. In fact, more so, because now we have assets that are issued on top of Ethereum. We have a whole DeFi ecosystem that gets to choose which chain is going to be the chain that it supports, right? And so miners have very little power here. I'm not worried at all. EIP 1559 is going to go through, and it's going to be great, I think, for the stakeholders of the platform who are users, dApp developers, people who believe in a decentralized future and want more economic bandwidth. I'm super bullish. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about the miners, guys. All right.